Okay, so I'm going to move on from the halving joints to something that sounds similar, but it's called a housing joint. Okay, so a housing joint is going to join the wood to make a T-section like this. So rather than having our wood flat on, we've got a housing joint that's going to be going like this. And the similarity is that that wood is going to go halfway through the thing, so the timber like that. So a lot of what we've done already is going to be really useful. So for example, setting with set and spike technique, marking the middle of the timber is going to be very useful. Come back to that quite a lot, probably using the marking gauge. Using a tri-square to mark where the joint starts from, exactly the same. Using a tri-square to bring your line around the wood. Going over your lines that you've created in pencil, all good. So the difference is going to be obviously where we mark the width of the timber for this joint. So we're going to put it end on like this, and we're going to make a mark, and we're going to bring that line across and down the timber by here. Same on this one, across the timber. Make sure you mark your waste wood where you're going to cut the timber out. Don't forget to do that. Bad habits to get into. Okay, so now, like I say, if you're lucky, clamp your wood in a vise, get your tenon saw out, start on the waste side of the line, make sure that your saw stays vertical, lock your elbow in, good saw practice, get straight down that line and stop when you get halfway. Halfway. Okay, now do your trick, right? Eyeball where that's going to be for a nice tight joint and set on this side. So where I've marked that line, look, if I cut on the inside of that line, it's going to be too loose, so I need to come back a millimetre off that line actually. So if I pop that on there, I need to cut next to that line. Stop when you get halfway through. Now go for your bevel chisel and your mallet. Make sure your hands stay behind the blade. Don't try and take it all off in one go. Go from one side to the middle. Spin it round. Go from the other side to the centre. When you get close to the point where you're getting down to the line, you can put your mallet away and you can just do your powering off. Just getting the chisel, nice sharp chisel, will allow you to just smooth the base of that joint down. Like I say all the time, just make sure you never have a hand in front of where you're chiseling, alright? So here's my housing joint, nice and flat on the base, level with halfway down. Looking pretty good. Okay, truth is when we come to put the joint together, so put that in there, should stay in place with friction. Really, I've gone a little bit loose with that joint there, but you get the idea. So that's our housing joint cut out, right? You're going to mark that out in a very similar fashion to the way you do your halving joints, but it's your housing joint, right? So there's my tools back in the box. Tidy down the work area, make sure I leave it nice and clean. And let's move on to the next one, alright? Well done.